Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Cracker Barrel has walked it back completely, and now conservatives are being blamed.
Of course, because they're always going to blame it on conservatives, even though everyone, across the board hated it, thought the changes were a bad idea, and they should go back to just doing, good food, which they haven't done in a while either, apparently. No, it's just because conservatives are mad.
Now, why they didn't announce this when they said they were going to keep the original sign is beyond me. But now
because they weren't going to cancel it then. Like I made sure when that announcement came out, I said right away. I noticed they're not saying they're stopping the remodel. They're just saying that they're stopping the logo change.
Well, now they're stopping everything, and I think that the CEO's job is probably also going to stop here pretty soon because her job was to come in and oversee this rebrand. It's been a complete disaster, so why the hell would you keep her on salary?
I know. Honestly, they should have focused more on, just making the food better. And
I know, right?
Because apparently there's stories out there that they've been doing it really cutting corners and it's not good. And they could have, you can brighten things up without changing everything about something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, this is what I saw earlier too. Yeah.
So maybe while they're at, they could get Paula Deen as their new spokesperson. There you go. I guess she's making a comeback now too. So let's talk about this. This shouldn't surprise anybody. I'm actually surprised it took them this long to do it. I mean, talk about falling flat on your face. But now the media is already trying to spin it that it's solely a conservative thing, and that we have a whole subculture of, they're calling it the QAnon consumer pushback.
QAnon. Okay, so this sounds to me, I'm sorry, all this sounds to me like is, what are the anti-Republican talking points and the potential buzzwords that we can shove into things to make it sound like more and more like we're in the right and this is exactly what's going on. Let's use QAnon.
I know, right?
Are you serious? We're calling it QAnon because it's not a conspiracy theory. They made changes people universally hated. It's not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I just want to remind people again, for those of you who haven't been following the Cracker Barrel drama, that the Democrats, in fact, the DNC official Twitter account, X account, posted that they hated the change too. Gavin Newsom, people said that was a parody, but I don't know. But the Democrats said, yeah, they hated it. So everybody hated it. It's over. It's done with. And I think, what's her name? Julie Fells Messino or whatever. I think her career is also over at Cracker Barrel. That's fine.
She'll Cracker Barrel. Yeah, exactly. She'll go someplace else.
Yep, absolutely. And they'll be like, well, the conservatives tried to cancel me, but now I'm going to come out swinging. I'm taking over Burger King, but now it's Burger Queen, bitches.
Yeah. Well, I just think this is ridiculous calling it QAnon marketing, but we'll get to it in a little bit.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
This is super important. If you'd like to continue to get your woohoos, please go out to our website, news.clownfishtv.com. Sign up for notifications every time we drop a video. We will send you an email notification because YouTube sure as hell won't anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, it's free to sign up. You don't have to if you don't want to, but just be aware that it's going to notify you every time, so you might get more than one email a day.
You will probably get like 3 or 4 a day, but check it out, news.clownfishtv.com. And also check this out. You've got a couple days yet. Geeky Sparkles Glow and Ghouls retro enamel pins now on Kickstarter. She's over $22,000 on pins, which I did not see coming, but you guys really like these, so there you go. Yeah, check it out. All right. So the news broke on X. We're sorry. Cracker Barrel posted this. You've shared your voices in recent weeks, not just on our logo, but also on our restaurants. We're continuing to listen. Today, we're suspending our remodels. If your restaurant hasn't been remodeled, you don't need to worry. It won't be. We're not going to fuck up your favorite restaurant. With our recent announcement that our old-timer logo will remain, along with our bigger focus on the kitchen and on your plate, we hope that today's step reinforces that we hear you. Learn more. The co-founder of Cracker Barrel came out and said that, yeah, it's stupid to try to turn Cracker Barrel into something it is not, and they need to focus on making the food good again.
Yeah, listen, if they're going to actually spend the time to make the food good again, which we're going to talk about the issues of the food, and they do their best to keep it as it is, and they're listening to you. It's kind of like the Sonic debacle, then they listened. The difference was they didn't like try to spin it that it was all alt-right Yahtzee. Or they probably did with the media. I can't remember. But I'm like, if they're listening and they actually legitimately follow through what they promised, then I think, people should support that because they listened. However, it took them a lot longer to listen than Sonic did.
It took them taking a hit, and a lot of people were writing in the comments on our other videos saying that, Cracker Barrels that were usually busy on the weekends, especially Sunday mornings, were virtually empty.
I believe it completely. And I feel bad for the employees because it's not their fault.
Yeah, no, it's not their fault at all. And if you're a food server, you get paid less than minimum wage to put up with a bunch of bullshit. And now you're not even going to get tip money because nobody's showing up. So good luck with that. But here's the full statement on their website. We heard clearly that the modern remodel design does not reflect what you love about Cracker Barrel. We had tested this design in only 4 of our 660 locations, and we won't continue with it.
It wasn't testing. They did it. They did it. And they were going to say it's beta, but they did it, and they were going to do it all over because they had deals in place.
We will continue to invest in our restaurants to make sure that they are in good shape and meet your expectations. The vintage Americana you love will always be here. The rocking chairs on the porch, our fireplaces and peg games.
Oh, you're going to fix the peg games?
Made in China.
Okay, that's another holdout right there, though. The peg games. Are you going to fix the peg game? Well, it doesn't matter now. The girl even said that even if they would want to bring it back, they can't because all the machines and stuff got sold at auction.
Yeah, that was horrible. I mean, they had unfortunately a handshake deal with the founders of Cracker Barrel, and we did a video on that. And the woman who inherited the family business of making the peg games said they were sending all their games to China to be made cheaper, and that's when they changed the language to be more diverse and inclusive, and also misspelled a bunch of stuff, I guess, because it was made in China and there wasn't anybody left to spell check, I guess. I don't know. They said, we want to have a warm, welcoming space for family and friends to gather and enjoy our craveable food and country hospitality. And the old timers stand, the old timer who is, what was it, Uncle Herschel?
Uncle Herschel. They're not even calling his name.
That's like saying
it's Herschel, a MAGA name or something.
No, it sounds like it could be in support of Israel. So we have to use his name. I
don't know. I'm just like, what's wrong with calling him by his name?
I'm just like, I mean, it's crazy. That's like working at Kentucky Fried Chicken, which they did a rebrand at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they call it KFC now because fried sounds unhealthy. But that'd be like, doing a rebrand at KFC and being like, we're going to keep the old man on the boxes. What's his face?
Yeah, that's true. But the thing about, KFC, people called it KFC before they rebranded to KFC. So it wasn't like a big jump.
Yeah. Yeah. But you think you'd want to, I don't know. It's like they took the Kentucky and the fried out of it.
They have not stepped away from Colonel Sanders, though. They've gone all in. And some of those commercials recently, the Colonel Sanders ones, the edgy ones, were hilarious. And I love them. And, they did it right.
Okay, so do that with Uncle Herschel and be like, I'm back, motherfuckers. I'm back.
But yeah, so like that wasn't their only problem, though. The food has been coming up a lot. People are mentioning that. And I saw that story, too, where they were, people that were speaking out that work there and saying about some of the stuff they were doing.
Yeah, so this is a New York Post from, there's Paul Dean. There we go. So this is the New York Post. They were talking about it. They said it's not just Cracker Barrel's logo that changed, that irked the customers at corporate bean counters this year, quietly forced the chain to serve up day-old biscuits and microwave meatloaf.
Yep.
The Post has learned. It's basically just a Denny's. Actually, I think Denny's is probably fresher. The unsavory menu staples at the folksy restaurant, including biscuits that arrived at the tables hard, rubbery, and like a rock, were the result of a non-public February directive that prioritized cost savings and efficiency over customer satisfaction, multiple employees told the Post. So again, what's her face, Julie Fells Messina or whatever, she was in charge. She was calling the shots then. She's the one who called the shots on the rebrand. How the fuck this woman has a job is beyond me, because she has caused so much damage.
Yeah, I don't get it either. But then how does Kathleen Kennedy still have a job?
I don't know. Instead of making biscuits fresh each day, as Cracker Barrel's kitchens had done for years, the chain's 650 locations were ordered to bake them a day in advance and freeze them, and then reheat them in hot boxes the next day. They thought, this is coming from a cook telling the Post, they thought we'd be faster and out sooner if we weren't rolling out the bread. People want biscuits to be buttery and soft. The most common complaint we've gotten is our biscuits are sometimes like a rock. And the meatloaf was cooked the day before and tossed in the microwave for just over a minute before being served. Another stealthy measure to save money. I'm sure Gordon Ramsay would have a field day. I
don't think he'd care personally.
Well, no, because I remember watching, well, he probably wouldn't now, but like the early, not Hell's Kitchen. Was it Hell's Kitchen? No, the other show he was on where he was like trashing restaurants, Kitchen Nightmare. The UK ones. Like there was one folksy restaurant in the UK where she was making like, mac and cheese and stuff. Everything was fresh made. And he set this restaurant up, and then he came back a couple of years later to the restaurant, and everything was like being microwaved and stuff, and he's getting all pissed off. He was
because that's like, you're not giving the people what they're paying for. And some of the prices, at these restaurants anymore, you can at least make sure the food is fresh.
They said, as reported by the Post, Cracker Barrel's meatloaf attracted social media attention last month when a TikToker posted a video that purported to have been taken inside one of the chain's kitchens. We threw it in a microwave, and then we serve it to you, according to the video, which panned to stacked trays allegedly filled with prepackaged meatloaf, and sometimes it's still cold.
Oh.
So,
well, I think a lot of places do this. I'm not making excuses, but if they're getting called out, they're getting called out fairly.
Yeah, again,
these are people that work in there that would know.
Yeah, I said the bacon too is pre-cooked. I'm surprised they didn't get the pre-cooked bacon they have in store. I've never had it, like the pre-cooked bacon.
No, Pat, we were not going to start now.
So, yeah, people are very correctly being like, you're spending money in the wrong place. You're going to rebrand all these stores into something that people hate.
$700 million, okay?
$700 million.
That they could have put back into I don't know, hiring more people and making better food.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, it's all QAnon's fault.
Yeah, this is hilarious to me.
So they said from chemtrails to Cracker Barrel, Americans are creating wild conspiracy theories about companies.
Okay, what's the conspiracy theory about Cracker Barrel?
Let's see here. They said,
what conspiracy theory is it? What is it?
August blow up over Cracker Barrel's new logo made the American Eagle tussle look like small potatoes, probably reheated. The restaurant scrapped the old guy leaning on the barrel from its corporate logo, opting for what I'm sure some consultant told them was a sleeker, more modern look. The right, however, decided it was
here we go. Again, here we go. The right. It wasn't just the right.
No, the right decided it was a signal that Cracker Barrel had gone woke and that the decision to abandon its old aesthetic reflected an abandonment of traditional values. No, it was other things that they did. People started looking into Cracker Barrel after this happened. They're like, what the hell happened to Cracker Barrel? And then they started to realize like, oh yeah, maybe Cracker Barrel has gone woke because all this other, the DEI stuff they're pushing. She all that.
Flat out said, well, we got to change everything to open our door to more people. And I'm like, you were already open to everyone, so what difference does it make? But they're like, that's a conspiracy theory. And then they were complaining about the American Eagle thing. The American Eagle thing was a bunch of people that weren't on the right pissed about that.
Yes. They were saying that Sydney Sweeney was promoting eugenics, and then it came out in the wash that she was a Republican, and then that caused a controversy, because God forbid we have attractive people selling clothing. Okay. This has been going on since like the beginning of time.
To be fair about this this article, be fair. They said about the campaign. The actress featured in spots declaring she had great genes, which is a joke. Okay.
Yeah.
Because she's good looking. Right. Some progressives and people online read the ads as being Nazi propaganda, a dog whistle. So yes, they are being fair, and they're saying that was the progressive side. Promoting white supremacy and eugenics. Conservatives swept in to defend her. Okay, whoa. And defend her and claim her as one of their own. So they're still pissed. They start out with the truth that it was some progressive people taking the joke and running with it and acting like it was something that wasn't. And then they have to use it to turn around and still bash conservatives. So if you're going to talk about conspiracy theories, how about we talk about the fact that all you media outlets keep trying to spin everything as conservatives' fault, even when it's progressives' fault? You start out, yes, it's their fault, but it's conservatives. They just said you're being stupid. This is dumb.
Well,
and you know what? They had a huge year because everybody bought their jeans just to stick it to you dumbasses for lying.
So here's the tip, guys. Here's what we can learn from all of this is that it actually these attempts to cancel often backfire and the companies wind up coming out ahead. I guarantee you, if Cracker Barrel gets rid of what's her face tomorrow and brings in some fat old guy that looks like he eats a lot of biscuits and says, hey, we're going to go all in on Americana and we're going to keep it rustic. And, Uncle Herschel's going to be here to sign autographs for your kids or whatever.
That guy, like you said, Paula Dean or something like that.
Oh, God. Paula Dean.
They'd be like, yeah. I'm just saying, if it's somebody that people like feel like whether male or female, that they feel is more, brand to the brand and that they trust more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, did they bring Dylan Mulvaney into it too?
They did. They did. They brought up Bud Light and they said that, everything becomes a Rorschach test because, people are going to look at a brand and if they move away from what they've been doing traditionally, they're like, it's woke. But also in a lot of cases, it's woke. And that's why they're making the changes they're making.
Yeah, but the thing is the silent majority turned away from it too.
Yeah.
So you're focusing on the quote unquote vocal minority, and you're focusing on those people, but the silent majority aren't supporting it either and don't like the change either. Like everybody stopped going to Cracker Barrel, or people stop buying Bud Light, and then you have the opposite problem with American Eagle. It wasn't a problem. Everybody started buying it just because they're like, this is stupid. So it's not just because of a political party. It's because people can tell and they can smell bullshit a mile away, much like these media outlets, and that's why people are turning against them. It's nothing about that. It's just like, well, why would you send a transgender? Why they're mad because they sent a transgender woman, some Bud Light. It's like, because this person has been the poster child for, bullshit for a while now. And then you're doing that too. And then, before we go any further, I just want to make sure I stress again that the ad agencies behind Cracker Barrel had nothing to do with the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light fiasco. I want to keep clarifying that.
QAnon came up with that.
Yeah, because the viral nation that people are associating with it has worked with Bud Light in the past, but they had nothing to do with the Dylan Mulvaney campaign. That was another place that did it. That was it Cultivate? What was it? Create.
Yeah.
Was that what it was? I can't
remember.
It
was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they fired a bunch of those people after that campaign. So.
And they're the ones that are behind it. They didn't intertwine. So that's not, the case. But this whole, if you don't like it, it's because of QAnon, mentality. It's like, oh my God. Which is it? That everybody, are just all conspiracy theorists and turning against brands based on, because they're all alt-right, or the media is so fixated on blaming it on the alt-right and the boogeyman that's not even in the room with them, that maybe they are the ones funneling for QAnon marketing. Maybe they're the ones behind QAnon marketing and they're perpetuating it. But no, they're going to blame it on you.
Yeah. So NBC News, they can't just say, hey, everybody hated Cracker Barrel. The stock dropped. They have to tie it into Trump because Trump posted his little AI video of him like hanging out with Uncle Herschel or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. No, actually, somebody else I think had done it and then he shared it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that though because I don't really follow Donald Trump. Contrary to what everybody thinks.
I thought that was RFK actually. RFK. It's like we're gonna take all the additives out of the Cracker Barrel food. It's gotta be fresh made. It's gonna use beef tallow now to cook all their biscuits.
Taking an aside here, I don't understand it. Like, I think Chris Pratt was saying something like this too the other day. People were sharing it, and I was like, yes, that's what we've been saying too. He's like, normally people would be all for, let's take the chemicals out of food that might be hurting you and making kids sick and everything else. But because it wasn't their idea, they hate it. And he's like, and I would argue this goes on both sides, sometimes depending on the situation. It's like, can we just go back to common sense and that we're doing what's best for the people overall and not just political things. And if something's a good idea, you say so and you go along with it, even if the rest of your party doesn't. If something's a bad idea, you say that's not a good idea and you go against it. Even the rest of your party does, because your job isn't to just toe a line. And if sometimes things are right, they're right. And sometimes things are wrong, they're wrong. And you're being elected to stand up for what's right and wrong. And instead you just stand up for whatever you're paid for. I mean, whatever your party says.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like, I mean, not to go off the rails here a little bit, but that's kind of like with the vaccines too. Like people forget Trump was the one that greenlit the vaccines, and I remember a bunch of people screeching about it. They're like, "I will never take these vaccines. They're not going to be safe because there's not a lot of testing." And then it went from that to, "Oh, the vaccines are good now. You need to take them. You need to take them 35 times a year.
And you get fired if you don't.
You'll get fired if you don't." And I think it's a good thing. Why you'll get fired if you don't inject yourself 35 times a year?
I'm fine.
So yeah, again, it depends on who's saying it. And we've said this before, just with cancel culture in general, across the board, regardless of what side of the aisle it's on. It's not what is being said, it's who is saying it.
Pretty much, yes.
I mean, that's the truth. But yeah,
I'm just saying it needs to be what is being said. You need to focus more on what's right and what's wrong, and less on trying to blame it on people or stick with a party line. This is ridiculous. But now the QAnon thing, marketing thing, that's just a whole other level of stupid. I'm sorry, you're dumb.
You are dumb. Everybody's like, let's get the Indians and the Chiefs back. There we go, guys. Yeah, a lot of people are like, Lorena Krill says CEO needs fired.
Yeah.
I think she will get fired. I'm going to tell you the truth. I think she'll get fired. I think what they'll do, though, because they don't want to throw a woman under the wheels of the bus, what they will do is they will wait until her contract is up, and then they'll say that
I don't think they can. I don't think they can in this instance. I think they're going to have to fire. But you know what gets me? They were touting this, that they had to do it because they had to make them brighter, which I do agree making it brighter. But you don't have to change everything and to look like, shiplap nightmare and not, you can still make it brighter in other ways and keep it cleaner in other ways. But they were saying that they were trying to do better food that was better for you and all this other crap. As they're saying that, they're telling their chefs to make meatloaf ahead and freeze it and and save day-old biscuits. So I'm not sure which is true here, because it's like, I mean, I'm sure I know which is true, but I'm just saying for the CEO, like they're trying to argue that we're making this change so it's a better food, better, healthier food, opens more doors for more people. But it doesn't sound like your bean counters got that memo.
No. So, and this Johnny Utah here, you blew $700 million to get blasted on social media and fail miserably on your remake. You should fire the CEO and most of upper management, then focus on improving your food. What are you paying for? You go to a Cracker Barrel, everything is microwaved, and your whole brand identity is, it's like grandma's kitchen. This is your, it's homespun.
It's like the one place you can't get away with that.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think Perkins at this point has fresher food than Cracker Barrel does. And that's sad, because that's what you're paying for. That's this experience of going to a home style, Southern style restaurant, having scratch made food, which was their motto for years, right? It was scratch made food. Mm-hmm. That's why you're paying what you're paying. That's why you're going to Cracker Barrel, not to the Greasy Spoon down the street. Now you're going to get a better meal at the Greasy Spoon.
Well, at least there's probably scratch made.
Yeah,
made
mostly
from scratch.
This
is scratch made. It annoys me. Anyway,
a guy scratched his ass and then he cooked your pancakes. He flipped your pancakes. Remember the pancakes? The one diner we went to, speaking of Greasy Spoons, we were the only people in the restaurant.
Oh,
and this was years ago. And we were literally the only people in the restaurant, and all we ordered were pancakes. Right? It was just something simple.
It was like they had breakfast all day, and it was like 1, but I was pregnant and I wanted pancakes. We sat there for an hour, waiting for pancakes. An
hour because the cook and the waitress were flirting with each other, and then finally, the pancakes arrive and they're burnt.
Yes. True story.
Yeah, so they didn't get a very big
We were
tip.
literally the only ones there, yes.
We were the only ones there. It wasn't like they were busy. I was like, what the hell is going on? Anyway.
Well, we were the only ones there. It should have been a good indication. But anyway.
There's a reason we're the only ones there. And Cracker Barrel's going to wind up going down that path if they don't fix their shit, right?
Yeah.
All right. We going to wrap this up?
Yeah, flush the CEO.
Flush the CEO.
Yes.
All right, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Again, go to news.clownfishtv.com. Sign up for notifications. I don't trust YouTube to notify you when we upload. And also check out Geeky's Kickstarter.
Yay!
You got about a day and a half yet, so check it out. We will talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.